Good processes and construction management in one.
And it's like you're building out systems.
If you're doing the same thing over and over, build it into a system. There's a lot on your plate as a business owner and a process builder, and this program is going to help with that. Build some processes. Let's get some freedom. Let's just keep moving forward to get this thing running 100% on autopilot. What's up, Ronnie?
Hey, one at it.
Yeah. What you got going on right now?
So we just finished up just under 5,000 square foot restaurant called the Chicken Place. And they're doing their soft opening tomorrow, grand opening on Saturday. And of course, they got about 80 people in there doing training. They got a heat load in there, and we're scrambling right now with the outside air unit with Sun Air, manufacturer getting the sensor and the thermostat put in to generate more air for them, et cetera. So it's one of those days where everybody's scrambling. 24-hour scramble we're on.
I love it. I love it.
Everything's being accomplished. You got good team players. And
yeah.
AC guys on board, my guys, whatever we got to do to get it done for the owner.
I love it. So it sounds like you're really good at what you do, Ronnie.
I try to be. I can make mistakes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I can't wait for the day to where you're going, well, I don't know what happened on the job today. My guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be, that's my struggle.
Yeah.
That's my struggle.
Yeah.
I guess I want to get into it. That's one of my things is, how do you get the right, I mean, I got some good people, but they're always leaning on me for my expertise and my longevity of construction. How do I get them to follow that without, I don't know. That's the struggle.
Yeah, I would say my advice would be find people that are better. If you have people right now that are, I always say business is two things, systems and people. But if you don't have the people that can actually do the construction, that know the stuff, but there is a level of hiring character over ability, because you can train ability, you can't really train character. So there's that too. But when you find both, it really is the magic formula. But how do you find those people? You got to vet them and you have to recruit for them. And it's really, really, really hard to do. And it actually takes hiring people, then firing, and then you kind of weed out the people as you go, and you kind of narrow it down, not even just with recruiting, but even with the people you hire. I mean, That's just been my experience. I'm just speaking from experience. So I've hired a lot of the wrong people.
Well, I've been in the same shoes. I've done the same thing. I hired a project manager, and he came down and looked at it. And I'm like, well, he only wants this instead of me paying that. Well, I hired him on this, and over a course of 5 months, it was a disaster. So better to hire somebody, pay them what they're worth, get that expertise. Mm-hmm. It goes a long ways.
It does. Especially then if you could take that expertise, tweak it, train it, then you work with them to build the processes. How's it going with everyone building your processes out? I mean, we got Vic. Vic's our one of our new guys. I see Chris is joining in. We got Sean. A lot of you guys, I hear really good reports from Angel that you're getting some processes built. How's it going? Vic, what about you, man?
Building processes is it, and that I have a question about turnover. Your experience with your turnover of people in that process of hiring and firing.
Yeah.
What's the turnover rate typically that you have?
I mean, I don't have a number for it or anything. I never really sat and tracked it, but I mean, I've had people that I've hired that don't work for me. Seems like more often than not, but I've gotten better. Like my first 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I didn't know how to really hire people. I just, whatever, if they kind of have a little bit of, or if I like the guy, if we're friends, then okay, cool. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, if they knew project management, then they could be a project manager kind of thing. But once I implemented the construction knowledge quiz, that was a game changer. Because they can have the best personality, the best culture fit, and if they don't know the details of different types of mechanical, if they don't know ductboard and flex versus cylindrical duct, or they don't know what an RFI is, you know, and even one of the questions I have in there is how wide and how thick is a 2x4, you know? I know a lot of, you know, you guys are, some of you are doing commercial. And so it's like your 3 5/8 stud or your 6-inch stud. If they don't know that stuff, then it's, you can't hire them no matter how much culture they got or how much you like them, you know? But that's one big thing that I learned for hiring. Yeah. Hopefully that's helpful. You guys all have I think I actually have that construction knowledge quiz. I think some of you guys all have that, right? The new hire packet. Yeah. Cause it kind of came with those internal systems. I've even beefed it up like in the back end, and I've kind of been working on it for commercial cause that's a little bit more residential focused. Chris, what's up, man? I know you're one of the newbies too.
Yeah, I'm a new guy. I'm texting my brother. He's wondering how to get into the Zoom call.
Oh, yeah, he should. I'll click the admit button once I see him pop in.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have a drywall company, right?
Yeah. metal framing and drywall.
Yeah.
A little bit of painting too. So
remind everyone where you're located.
I live in Minnesota.
Okay.
On the border of North Dakota, and most of our work is in North Dakota.
Cool.
All across the state. So
love it. So how's everything going so far, man?
Great. I mean, we're just starting to set up our systems for project manager.
There's your brother.
That's getting me excited because we really need that.
Yeah. Project manager systems. I mean, estimator is the most important role in the company, right? Because without the correct estimating systems, you know, we're all going to fall flat on our face because the PMs, I'm always like, Mark, my PM, buy it out better. He's like, yeah, but if the estimator screwed up, he didn't catch the floor prep. It's not, you know, I can't make a good profit on the project. But yeah, project management systems are extremely important after that estimator thing. And now a lot of you guys, like in the automation blueprint flow, I assume a lot of you are still marketing and biz dev and selling. So if you build a project manager process, eventually estimator as well, of course, superintendent and the admin, you all know that. Then you could focus 100% of your time on marketing and selling and being a CEO.
Yeah. Our estimating process is pretty good right now. Just need to dial it down to get it perfect, and then should be good.
I love that. That's exciting. Yeah. And then do you guys have a project manager yet? Remind me.
No, it's just me and my brother managing. And one of our employees, he's really great. We're going to be like promoting him to project manager because he's pretty much kind of doing it a little bit already. And when we get these systems, he'll be ready to go. Yeah. And guys, the new software, it's coming really soon, probably 3-4 weeks, ballpark. Really exciting. That's where all the systems are going to live. There's going to be quizzes and scorecards to keep everyone accountable every week. Like I'm having my sales guy fill out these scorecards. How many leads did we get? How many of them were qualified? How many of the qualified ones did you contact? That being said, we contact all of our leads now, even if they're not qualified, and send them a rejection template email. If you guys want that email, send me a Slack message. It's just like a simple thing. And then the ones that are qualified, we contact and then set up you send them a Calendly link and set up like a Zoom call or Google Meet, whatever. But then we go through that intake, right? The client intake process, which is all the details and the data. Maybe they get a ROM, a rough order of magnitude, or maybe we spend 2 or 3 weeks putting together a full bid. You know? Sean, how's it going, man?
It's good. Stressed out.
We're going to fix that. It's a process. It took me years and years and years to really figure this out. But the life that I live now, how many of you guys know that, and this is actually, don't share this, okay? You guys are like my little group here. But Angel is coming on as my CEO.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I figured that.
Yeah. I didn't, some of you probably knew, some of you, I don't know. So it's really exciting for me. So I'm spending the next 4 to 6 months giving her the operations manual to my big ship. So her and Ron are gonna be steering the ship, and I'm just the founder at that point. literally, like I was sitting in Ron's office yesterday, and we just hired a new project manager / superintendent. His name's Kevin. And there's one little piece in there that's like, take his photo. And I typically go with my Sony camera with my 50mm lens, and I tell some jokes and I make them laugh, and I get that perfect smile. And those are the photos that are up on our website. And so long story short, I was like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. And Ron was like, oh crap, like you're not gonna do anything. No. I don't do anything anymore, you know? And that's where I'm really excited to get you guys all to that point. You guys we're all excited about our companies. We're all really intelligent because we're CEOs, right? All you guys took the leap of faith. We're entrepreneurs, but there's a level of, and I've had to learn all this the hard way, but I really wanted it. I really wanted to figure it out because I knew I wanted that freedom. And I knew after I listened to it, but the E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber changed my whole perspective. And the way Robert Kiyosaki writes his books and talks and stuff like that, like the cash flow quadrant, if you really read that book and understand it, that you really want to get on the right side, the B and the I, the business owner and the investor, where people work for you, you can buy time. And then the I quadrant, where money works for you as an investor. So your money makes you money. In the B quadrant, your people make you money. But in the E and the S, the employee or the self-employed quadrants, it's great for most people. 80% of people or 90% or more live over there. But you work for your time. You trade your time for money. And that mindset, if you can break that in every little thing, like employee's photo, I had to break the mindset. Even now, I don't have to do this. So I'm just excited for you guys to all, you've invested into yourselves. You're paying for this program, which is a big deal of your time, your hard-earned money, right? But it's going to take you to the point of automation. So, and this is the blueprint for it. Automation blueprint. Anyway, all right, who's got a question?
The reason I was running a little bit behind, I had somebody looking at one of my spec houses, so hopefully we get it sold today. So.
Okay, that's good, man. That's exciting. It's always a good feeling. So what's up with processes? Where are you at in the blueprint? You're another newbie here, somewhat.
Yep, newbie. Just had a second meeting with Angel yesterday. Mm-hmm. Starting to set up our processes. Very excited about it because I know the building. I know inside and out. But I'm looking forward to this learning the process of how to actually run a growing business as opposed to getting the bills paid with mom and pop operation. It's I'm really excited to start growing. I'm overwhelmed with working in a small little town, but we're ready to start expanding into Cheyenne, some of the other areas around.
I love it, man.
This little town, so.
I love it. I love to hear that he's overwhelmed with the marketing and sales side. And I know I remember our call now. You're good at marketing and selling, and you just need those systems to go shove it to the estimator and then be like, all right, cool. Estimator gives it to the PM, and then the super handles it. And then your admin person does all that stuff. And then you bookkeep and make sure your job costing's done right. All the reports just kind of come to you, and eventually they go to your COO. Go ahead, Sean.
Start delegating as opposed to doing it all myself.
Yeah, delegating correctly. Sean, what's up?
One of the things that kind of dawned on me as we were kind of going through some of these processes was that in order for my estimating system to start getting built out, which I've started building some of the processes on that, it's tough when you're still kind of 1 foot in residential and 1 foot in commercial. Because it's like you're building out systems for something that you're trying to phase out, but in order for you to get to that place, you still have to build it. Right? So that's been tough, right? Projects without plans. It's like, okay, so I had to create a site. Well, so that the initial intake form was huge, and I really appreciated Angel sharing that. I ended up adjusting it, kind of doing some things for myself, but. And including some items that apply to residential, like new construction. And it was like, how do I get the information to my estimator so that he doesn't need to be on the phone with me 20 times about whatever's going on. So like a standardized system in order to, he sees the same thing every time. Like he gets the same information in the same place. And so that was definitely pretty tough. And now it's like kind of in this weird spot where I have an estimator, and he's like a veteran estimator, but he was a heavy civil guy forever. So he didn't do vertical construction. And so I'm kind of having to teach him how to build things, you know? And I realized that as much as that is not an ideal situation, you know, I was, you know, the E-Myth, Michael Gerber talks about like, nobody wants to buy a job. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, he mentions McDonald's, right? You want to make it at the lowest common denominator, essentially, like that. And I'm like, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Now I have to build a system for somebody that doesn't really know how to build a scope out of,
well,
you know what I mean? There's still communication stuff.
My response to that would be find an estimator that knows vertical. You know, there's a lot on your plate as a business owner and a process builder, and this program is going to help with that. But man, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders to have an unqualified, like, you want to go find admin, and you want to find a superintendent and a project manager and an estimator that know their role. Because right now it doesn't sound like you have an A player. Not that he's not a great guy, you know, but sounds like a C+ because he's not a B because he doesn't know his job, how to do his job. That would be my piece of advice, kind of just looking in. I'm sure that you have a great relationship with the guy, and maybe he could help with PM, and I don't know how much, I mean, just civil, I mean, you're building custom homes and you want to get to commercial, but civil is just
we're doing both. We're doing commercial as well.
Yeah.
Like trying to get to that place where we've kind of created that market presence enough to be able to actually pull in enough of those leads to where like that's like all we ever deal with.
And it's
for right now in order to keep cash flows going.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have an A player as my project manager.
Okay.
He's definitely an A player, right? But so I have him, and then the estimator is kind of like, you know, do I utilize him for, you know, calling subs, which is really what he's good at. As long as he knows what the trade is, he knows the quantities of the square foot that he's actually, you know, doing an invitation to bid or something like that. I mean, that's a lot of legwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it could take some stuff off my plate, but it's like, even if I do have an A player, there's still certain pieces of information. You can't make a bid. You can't make an estimate off of less than complete information. And that would fall on me as the sales guy.
Mm-hmm.
That if we don't have plans, and he's like, okay, so we're refinishing all this hardwood floor. How many square feet is it? Right? And it's like, if I didn't write that down initially, it's like, oh man, like let's go back and talk about it, right? So
yeah.
I'm trying to process that feeds into the estimating process.
So my process is I do a basic floor plan or some minimal design contract, because I don't estimate drawings without, I don't estimate projects without drawings.
Right.
Yeah, I just think that's really, you're making it real hard for yourself when you have an estimator that doesn't do vertical and he doesn't even have drawings to estimate on. It's like, we're kind of like sinking in a molasses a little bit. So I think maybe find a guy that can understand the whole project process, civil and architectural and structural and all the stuff, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. And then make sure you have drawings on your projects. And if your clients call you and they don't, do a design contract, whether that's all 6, architectural, structural, civil, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, or just architectural with a rough layout, and the architect charges you $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 or $2,500, depending on how.
I was gonna say, how you got a referral?
It depends how small I mean, if it's a 1,000 square foot donut shop, or if it's a 10,000 square foot Office Depot, maybe it's 10 grand for your initial layout, you know, whatever. But I mean, all your design is probably going to be 50 to 80 to 100 or more thousand. or 20 or 30 grand for like a smaller project. That's just my experience in Florida. I mean, I don't know about all you guys, but yeah, but start small. Then you have the client on the hook. That's the exciting thing about sales. Oh, we've traded value. I give you these drawings, you give me money. Then what did we just build? Any guesses?
A relationship.
Yeah, and trust.
Oh, see, that's a problem that I'm having. Is it on these residential projects? Time is so much of the essence that sometimes, you'll have those clients that it's you don't have that kind of time to even get a basic floor plan with which to then do an estimate.
Are you talking like a residential renovation?
Yeah, like I'm doing one in Golden, Colorado, right now that's like, 3 bathrooms, a kitchen, and then like X amount of square feet of hardwood floor refinish with some lace in, and then a bunch of carpet.
I think like commercial is a little bit different. I would never do that without drawings. When I did residential, my first like 3 to 5 years, I know it costs 20 grand for a bathroom and 45 for a kitchen, or like whatever the pricing is. Like you just know this stuff, and I just just spit the number at them and see what they say, because it's a lot more volume. But with commercial, I think it's like we just landed this private jet facility renovation. So I was flying out to Texas for my mom's 70th birthday, and right before we kicked off the runway, Clay texted me the little letter of intent from Signature Flight saying we just got an $813,000 private jet facility renovation, and I'm like, nice. Like I didn't have anything to do with that. You know what I mean? But I did actually renovate that same one like 8 years ago, and I was like all over it. So they called us back. That was part of it. But anyway, he's starting to sell jobs without me. But anyway, what was your last point? I think I kind of ran off the rails there.
Just the fact that sometimes trying to get bids in to a point where you're going to win the contract in that timely space.
Yeah.
Where, and I know that some guys are using, and I apologize, I know that some guys are not even doing residential, but doing like a room scan or something like that.
Yeah.
You can do those things, but it only does so much. So it's just trying to figure out that balance that while we're kind of getting that market share for the commercial stuff.
Right.
It's like, man, I just need to have something. And I think I developed one. I'd like to share it with you at some point. So you can take a look at it and tell me what you think. But I made it into a whole form. It's like fillable PDF with check boxes and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
110 items or something like that.
Yeah. So I want to hear from Vic real quick. Like you're commercial, right? You've been doing it 20, 30 years, something like that from what I remember.
Yep.
You're not doing any residential. You never really have, right? Or did you ever have to make that transition?
We did originally, and we stopped about 18 years ago, and we have done, the last one we did was about 10 years ago, and it's one of the, the owner of the commercial project that won't have anyone but us, in their house. And so we did that one, pretty much gutted the central part of the house. We didn't do, we did the major kitchen and living room and all that central part of the house. So
yeah. So like for that project, did you
different business models altogether? You can't use the same insurances. You can't use the same subs. The pay is different.
Yeah.
The way commercial, we're paying on 30 days. Residential, they're waiting for you every week. It's just different, Yeah, they're both good business models, but it doesn't make sense to me to mix them. And the people that I've seen that do it successfully, they actually have different companies, completely all together structure, and with different insurances, different subs. So
I love that.
To not do residential.
Yeah, I love that, Vic. That's beautiful. I think Sean, like our advice, like Vic, Ronnie, me, just stop doing residential. I mean, it's hard because it's your bread and butter, but make sure you have the commercial lead flow, but then just make the switch. At some point, pick, maybe 3 months from now, you say, okay, but don't keep building your residential systems if you know you're not going to be doing it. And again, the guys doing residential, which I don't know if any of you guys here, Jose, do you do residential? I forget.
Yes, I'm still doing residential, and it's good, I'm making money, but it's very stressful dealing with all this stuff, and
So to me,
I participate in like a training to do things online, like with Instagram and stuff. last week, last Saturday, and this lady was like, for you to post stuff, to focus on providing value to customers, you gotta focus on one thing. You can't do houses and commercial places. Your channel, like if I want to build a channel, focus on one thing that you really want to do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're gonna confuse people. And then, like, awoke me even more. Like, I gotta, decide what I want to do. If I want to stick with residential or if I just go commercial, because I'm just creating more confusion, and it's just
I agree.
Not clear.
Yep, pick one.
Y'all are making me want to turn into commercial contractor.
I'm telling you, man, the emotion and the margin and then the emotion and the margin for residential. When you rip people's kitchens out, they're hangry, and that's it.
Yeah.
But when you're making someone money, when a business owner says, I want you to build my coffee shop, and you'd be like, heck yeah, give me $450,000. And they're like, okay. And you build it, and then they go start making money. It's like, it's really a beautiful feeling, man. And like Jose, you said, yeah, I'm making money, but really you're making wages. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know your numbers, but that's what residential, not to say that custom residential can't be really great, because I never really tapped into that world. I've never really done a $10 million house or a $4 million house, or I do $7 million apartments and, like that kind of stuff. But, I'm sure that there's money to be made. Maybe you can make 30% on something like that. I've never done it. That's just my Jesse Lane thing. And also Vic and Ronnie, and, it sounds like the other guys as well are wanting to get into commercial. Of course, Chris and Dimitri, you guys are obviously commercial, metal framing, drywall, all that stuff. So, and you're on the subcontractor side, which doesn't make a difference for automating your processes. It's still, man, if we could change the whole industry. Imagine if everyone just had a system in place and each role knew exactly what they're supposed to do, with checks and balances and accountability and quizzes and scorecards and meeting cadences, like all that stuff we're putting into all of your businesses. So all you guys don't need to be running around knowing all the project details,
Yeah.
So
it seems like after listening to you guys, also more so, and I've kind of heard it in the past, you can work 6 months in residential and make, 20, 30,000 on a project, or you can work the same amount on a commercial project and make 5-8 times as much.
Yeah. So who else has a big question or biggest struggle? I want this to keep continuing to be valuable here.
My question is at this stage, being early in the Jesse Lane system here, is determining which cog of the wheel to fill first. Is it a salesperson? Is it my estimator? Is it, an office manager? Or hire having a COO that's kind of going to help determine and manage those hires and managing people learning the system.
Right.
To get it plugged into place to where they're efficient at what we're needing them to do.
Right. So let's pull it up. Brian Johnson. I got you right here. Okay. So this is where you're at, right?
Yes.
So do this. Make sense?
Yeah.
Easy. Just focus on these two. Don't worry about the rest. But purple means you need to be covering down personally on all these other things.
Yeah.
Then
I think I'm good with the superintendent portion of it. I've got a good quality guy.
Good.
Been working with me for several years, so
okay.
I think that he can kind of plug and play into that superintendent.
Yeah. Then just pick one of these. Do you like estimating or project management better for yourself?
I think estimating for me personally is one of my biggest hangups, is trying to run everything and get the estimates out to people so I can keep the pipeline filled.
Okay, so you could get a project manager that can help with estimating.
Yeah.
That's an option. Right, so that would turn both of these green immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, that's kind of what I would do if I was in your position. But if you really want to scale, get an estimator you project manage for a couple months, make sure he's good, the estimator is good. Then go get another project manager. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 employees. I assume admin and bookkeeping are kind of the same person. It can be 2 different people.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, my CPA does my accounting, but my office manager does my bookkeeping.
Yeah, at this stage, the wife's been doing more of the bookkeeping, and we've got a CPA for that portion of it.
Yeah.
I think what I even need to do is have my wife step up and be more full-time on the bookkeeping side as opposed to part-time, and or hire somebody to help manage that portion of it.
Yeah, exactly. Then you could pick one. You could do sales or COO. Again, it's very flexible, but what I personally did was COO at this point, because I'm like, all right, I'm sick of managing all this bull crap.
Yes.
Then you just meet weekly with your COO. I mean, you guys, you've all heard me go through this, but let this sit for a little bit. You're marketing, selling, and your CEO. Then go get a sales guy. And again, I'm not saying you have to wait to go get a sales guy. If you're like, I don't want to do sales, and if you want to build all these systems, I think
at this point, the sales are there just because of small town. I mean, I've probably got 6 or 8 estimates I need to get out right now. So if I can just get an estimator, get those out.
Yeah.
And have my superintendent running up things.
You're about to take off. You're about to go to 10, 20, 30 million. Because once you go to that new town, and once you just have an estimator, because once I plugged an estimator in to just sit there all day and estimate, and that's all he does. And I even gave him a junior estimator, like, hey, do the RF, like the ITBs, the invitations to bid, right? Send it all out to the subs. Do the RFIs, get all the requests for information. The junior estimator, there's a lot that he can kind of do. But anyway, you could even have your admin person help the estimator if you want. This could kind of blend over here a little bit. But at that point, you could be the CEO for a decade if you want. You could be the rest of your life the CEO if that's what you love. For me, I want to be a software CEO, and I want to do this coaching program. And so I did this. And I even just hired a fractional CMO. So this is me. I hired a fractional chief marketing officer, and our kickoff calls on Friday. So and my CEO is going to manage them, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to post I got all these project videos that you guys are about to see on YouTube. I just managed the editing, made editing notes to my editor on 3 of the videos about projects and the whole story. And we got tons coming up. It's like a whole coordination dance to like film all these projects that we have going on. But I'm going to have to not really worry about any of it anymore. They're going to post it on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, like all this stuff. And the CEO is going to manage that. So this is where my construction company is currently at. But so don't be discouraged. Just start small.
I'm 53 now. I'd like to be at 65. Well, before that anyway, but
yeah,
business running itself, I can focus on all aspects. I like the one you said, looking at it from, 10,000 feet in the air, looking down at the business. Okay, I need to go concentrate and go help this person.
It's
not that I don't trust them. I don't think they're doing right, but it seems like they're needing some assistance.
Yeah.
And then come back up and look at it again. Okay, well, I need to go over here. And rather than micromanaging everybody, just kind of making sure all the cogs are in place and they're all working together.
Yeah. It's nice to have that perspective. The perspective is beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And then just imagine once this software hits where you can get a scorecard every week and you know exactly where your sales guy is, for example.
Jesse, what's job costing going to look like on structure?
Yeah, good question. So the original structure, version 1 structure features are scorecards, tasks, quizzes, logging meetings, processes, obviously like rich text editor to just host all of your processes, stuff like that, right? There's more to it. There's messaging, there's different things, and there's even more. You'll see. But it's going to be 2025 before I take over Buildertrend and Procore and all that stuff, you know, but that's what I'm going to be focusing on. And you guys are going to help me build it. You know, I'm going to, in like 3 weeks, I'm going to let you all in, you know? So
Looking forward to it.
yeah, it's going to be really cool. I just got chills when I said that. I mean, it's like, it's going to be awesome. But anyway, so, but it's going to take time to do the construction management stuff, submittals, RFIs, schedules, daily logs. You know, what was the question you asked? Which part? Oh, job costing. Yeah, it's going to have all the budgets, and it's going to kind of be like Buildertrend, but just better. And it's going to try to be like Procore, but you can actually like do stuff like that makes sense. So like a schedule actually on the software, you know, without having to upload a Microsoft project thing. That's bizarre. Like, what are they thinking? And they charge you 50 grand. They're like, oh, we want to cut to your company. I'm like, dude, go home. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. Structure is going to be affordable for everybody and just helpful. It's going to be processes and construction management in one. And then for the construction management, it's Procore, Buildertrend, JobTread in one. A little bit more commercial focus too, like AIA pay applications and submittals and all the stuff you can't even do on Buildertrend because it's built for homeowners. Oh, would you guys, I have my podcast mic, and so would you guys be cool if I posted this on YouTube? Some of this, the good parts?
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe like, would you recommend, for those people watching on YouTube, would you guys recommend this? I mean, like, give me like a couple things. Like, how do you feel about the program so far? Not everyone wants.
But it's been great. I mean, seems like you guys really know what you're doing, and it's been very helpful. So
nice. Ronnie, how you feeling about it?
Really excited about it. My thing is, 59 years old. I've been doing this since I was 10 years old. Everything's up here. I got to bring it down, give to other people to have the trust to be able to hire the right people, have the systems in place where they're doing it the way that I want it to be done. And being led in that direction, which is great. So I'm excited about it. Very excited. I'm
really, really glad you're enjoying it. I know, Vic, you're new to, but what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, just getting started, but I'm excited about it as well. So I've enjoyed seeing, over the past few years, watching you build things and make it happen. So
yeah, love it. What about Sean?
Angel's the best, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of progress, a lot of stress lifted off the shoulders for sure, because it can get overwhelming. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to do.
A ton.
I'm already saturated, right? I'm already busy. So adding more stuff is like, well, if there's not a key, there's not a set, structure to getting that figured out, then it's like you're just more overwhelmed and you just feel like you're more lost. So, but it's been awesome. A lot of templates that have been shared that have just really helped streamline some stuff. So
ultimately, you'd recommend it to people, you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate that, guys. I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah, if you can shave off those years, that's why we're all here, right? Yeah. Who was saying? Yeah.
Recommend it, but I heard something a few years ago, and it says that, you cannot take someone to a place that you've never been there. So basically that's why I'm here, and all of us are here, because if you've been there, you can take us to that place
right
we want to go.
I love it. Totally. Yeah. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of wrong moves,
That's what resonated to me whenever I was looking into this, and I obviously watched a bunch of your videos and so forth, and it's like, okay, this guy gets it. I mean, you've done the hands-on portion of it, and that's what I keep instilling in my guys. I mean, you can't step up and move up within the company till you know what you're doing, because you have to have done it or have some knowledge in it before you can manage somebody to do it. And I like the fact that, like I said, you went through the processes of hands-on and moved up through it, and you created that process, which I wish I would have done over the years. So that's what resonates with me, as far as it's somebody that's been there, done it, and implemented the good, the bad, and the ugly of it, you know, and you weed it out. So you've at least going to help me instead of us trying to do what you did and test the waters to find out what works and what doesn't work. You've already figured it out. We just plug and play it and implement the system.
Yeah.
And
so
it's all about the system.
So going into this next week, for example, what are you guys going to do when you say, "Oh, I just did this thing myself"? You shouldn't do anything yourself, especially if you want to greenlight all of those roles. Unless it's marketing or sales, if you're in that phase. Because this is a phase. It's a phased approach. It's not just blah, make them all green, unless you go out and get private money, equity, you know, like an investor. Okay, you got $2 million, great, make them all green, run, you know. But a lot of us don't really want to do that. Then you're not 100% owner of your business, and so it's going to take some time to delegate, focus on marketing, sales. Delegate a little bit, and then you run down, do some estimating and project management, then you market and sell, then you hire estimating and project management, and then you're marketing, selling, fixing your processes. This guy isn't doing this estimate right. Fix it, build a better process, and we help you through that. Get a COO. Then you're, did we just lose someone? Then you're, maybe it was like one of those AI. Then you're focusing on your COO. Hey, I noticed the superintendent's messing up. Go to your COO. Don't go to the superintendent. Go to your COO. I know a lot of you guys don't have COOs yet, but that's where we're going, right? And I had to learn that. Now I go to my CEO. I mean, there's c-suite@jlane.com, and or a C-suite text group, and hey, we got a problem. I don't run it. Hey, superintendent, rah, rah, rah. I don't go on site. This metal framing's wrong. It's not my job. You know, it's the COO's job to make sure that PMs and the supers and everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and the estimator, all the stuff. So now there's a new dynamic that Angel and I are working out, you know, with bringing her on as CEO. So it's pretty exciting. But yeah, eventually you just point person. Oh, another point, like a small detail. I said c-suite@jlane.com. or support at, or estimating at, or receipts at, or sales at, or at invoices at, or insurance at. Set up Google groups if you guys have like a Gmail thing. Don't have your receipts go to Crystal at. Have it go to receipts at, so that person. I mean, I love Crystal, but people are people, and estimating at, my estimator might change in a year. So. Does that make sense? So all your forms and stuff, like, you'll never have to change it ever again. Just do it once. That's just one little mindset hack of setting up your business. That's just an example of how you can set this whole thing up to where you never have to go back and, oh, you're laying in bed at night. I never changed that whatever it was 2 months ago, you know, like that alone will free I just get more peace even telling you guys that. You know, because we're shooting for peace and freedom, you know, which is kind of like the same bucket of emotions. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys. Think of your whole business. So you guys tell me, what's one thing that you could think of from your perspective that you could automate this next week? Okay, well, that's your homework. Let's be thinking about that for our next call. Maybe let's talk about it on our next call. Let's automate a new thing on top of these process building things each week. Let's find a way to automate. That was mine for this week. Google.
One thing I'm doing with my staff that I have, I got a superintendent, two superintendents, a project manager. Actually, my youngest daughter is my junior estimator, if you will. And I have an admin, accounting bookkeeper. I've gone to them and told them, I want you guys to write down your systems. I want 2 of them done every week. What do you do? What is your steps?
Yeah.
You know, she said that, you know, my daughter Rachel, junior estimator, whenever you get a set of plans in, what are your processes that you do to get that plans to the reprographics place, to get to the invitations to bid, to get the scope, get the subs selected. You know, so she's writing all that down. So everybody it's going to start with her. So whenever I move her up to a different project management, assistant project manager or estimator, next person coming in is going to have that, which I'm going over with her and helping her. It helps me, them doing that work for me, if you will.
Love it. Checklists are another big thing. Every time you do something, just build a checklist. I'm going to make the software to where once someone fills out a checklist, it can get submitted. So it's not just, oh yeah, I checked it off. No, like the new hire checklist that we just hired this guy, Kevin, we said his background check is passed. His this and that, check. We did drug screening. We added him to the J-Lane Construction text group. We did this, we did that, we did this. So each thing, like a new hire checklist or an onboarding checklist once they actually start. New hire is like, great, all the paperwork needed for hiring a new hire. Onboarding is once they start, it's like, okay, we ran them through this, we ran them through that, we ran them through this, And so once the software is here, well, we can help you guys get it all into the software with like all the templates and stuff like that. And so then you just see these things happening. Oh, great. The office manager checked off all these things, or the junior estimator checked the checklist of whatever, X, Y, and Z for the RFP, the RFQ, the ITB, all that stuff. All right, cool. So let's go into next week. Let's build some processes. Let's get some freedom, right? It's the whole goal. Let's just keep moving forward to get this thing running 100% on autopilot. Okay, so I showed you just, a few parts there of one of our weekly calls with some of the group. Kind of pulled these guys aside and did this Zoom call. I love connecting inside the automation blueprint with the contractors that are looking to scale and automate their construction businesses. So if you want to scale and automate your construction business, then consider joining Automation Blueprint. You can just go to jesselane.com and sign up for the coaching program. There's a little short application and someone from my team will reach out to you and we'll get you inside. It's that simple. We're transforming lives every single day. This is becoming more and more of my mission on earth. It's just really fulfilling to see everything that I've learned over the last decade or more. I've been in construction 18 years, but decade of running a construction company now. It's 2024 as of the time of this recording. But looking forward to seeing you inside, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.